Staff Sergeant Han Jiwoo sat alone in the dark control room of Colony Station Epsilon. The emergency lights cast red shadows on the walls. Blood dripped from a cut above his eye. His black combat armor was covered in dust and alien blood. The station's metal walls shook as another explosion hit somewhere below. Jiwoo checked his rifle's ammo counter. 27 rounds left. He looked at the bodies of his squad members on the floor. They had fought well, but the Nexus aliens had been too many. "Computer, start recording combat log," Jiwoo said in a clear voice. "This is Staff Sergeant Han Jiwoo, Earth Marine Corps, ID number 227 to 849. I am the last defender of Colony Station Epsilon. Time is 2300 hours, Earth Standard Time." He walked to the main computer screen, which showed hundreds of red dots moving through the lower levels. Each dot was a Nexus alien. They were coming up, floor by floor. Jiwoo knew he had maybe 10 minutes before they reached him. The memory of his last conversation with Master Sergeant Kim Sunmei came to his mind. It was during his advanced combat training, 6 months ago. They had talked about the Nexus aliens and their special ability. Remember, Sunmei had told him, when Nexus aliens kill someone, they connect to that person's brain. They take all the military information stored there. That's how they learned our tactics so fast. Jiwoo touched the neural implant at the base of his skull. Every Marine had one. It stored combat data, mission details, and tactical information. When he died, the Nexus would take all of it, or at least that's what they would think they were taking. A small smile appeared on Jiwoo's tired face. He had an idea. It was crazy, but it might work. It might even help turn the tide of this war. He just had to die the right way. Jiwoo sat at the computer terminal and started typing quickly. His fingers moved fast over the keyboard as he accessed his neural implant's data core. Warning messages popped up on the screen, but he ignored them. He was changing things that weren't supposed to be changed. Another explosion rocked the station. Closer this time. The aliens were getting near. "Computer, continue combat log," Jiwoo said. "I am preparing my final defense of the station. The weapon caches on level 3 must not fall into enemy hands." There were no weapon caches on level 3, but the Nexus didn't know that. He kept typing, adding more false information into his neural implant. Fake defense plans. Wrong numbers about Earth's military strength. False locations of important bases. All of it carefully designed to look real. The station's eye spoke. "Warning. Nexus forces have reached level 8. 5 minutes until they breach this level." Jiwoo finished his work and stood up. He checked his rifle one last time and moved to a good defensive position behind an overturned metal table. His heart was beating fast, but his hands were steady. "Final combat log entry," he said. "To whoever finds this, don't think I failed. Everything that happens next is part of the plan. Earth Marines never die without a purpose." He heard the sound of claws on metal. The aliens were in the ventilation shafts now. Soon they would burst through. Jiwoo aimed his rifle at the ceiling and waited. This wasn't going to be a last stand. It was going to be a first strike. The Nexus thought they were coming to kill one more Marine. Instead, they were walking into a trap that would start in Jiwoo's mind and spread through their entire hive mind. Sometimes, he thought, the best way to fight back is to lose the right way. The ceiling vents burst open, and the first wave of Nexus aliens dropped into the room. Their gray scales gleamed in the red emergency lights, their black eyes fixed on Jiwoo. He smiled and opened fire. 6 months earlier, at the Earth Marine Training Center in Seoul, Han Jiwoo stood at attention in Master Sergeant Kim Sunmei's office. The room was small and plain, with only a desk and a large screen on the wall. The screen showed pictures of Nexus aliens from different battles. "At ease, Sergeant," Sunmei said. She was a small woman with short gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. "Do you know why you're here?" "No, Master Sergeant," Jiwoo replied. Sunmei touched a button on her desk. The screen changed to show a video of Ji-woo's last training exercise. In it, he had done something unusual. When his team was about to lose, he had tricked the enemy team by pretending to retreat in panic. The enemy followed him right into a trap. "You think differently," Sun Mai said. "That's good. We need different thinking to beat the Nexus." She stood up and walked to the screen. "What do you know about how the Nexus learn?" Ji-woo thought for a moment. "They connect to their kills. Take information from dead soldiers' brains." "Yes, but there's more." Sun Mai pointed to a picture of a dead Nexus alien. Its gray scales had turned black after death. "When they kill, they don't just take combat data. They take everything. Memories, feelings, beliefs. The Nexus don't just learn how we fight. They learn how we think." She walked back to her desk and picked up a small device. It looked like a memory chip. "This is new tech. It lets us change what's in our neural implants. Right now, only instructors like me have it. But soon, every Marine will have one." Ji-woo looked at the device with interest. "So we can hide information from them." Sun Mi smiled. "Better. We can feed them false information. But it's not simple. The Nexus are smart. If the fake data looks fake, they'll know." She put the device down. "That's why I called you here. You understand deception, how to make a lie look like truth." For the next 3 hours, Sun Mi taught Ji-woo about the Nexus hive mind. How it worked, how it spread information, how it could be tricked. She showed him how to use the memory chip, how to create fake data that would look real to the aliens. "Remembered," she said at the end, "the Nexus think they know us because they can read our dead. But that's their weakness. They trust what they learn too much." Ji-woo nodded. "They don't expect us to lie with our deaths." "Exactly." Sun Mi's face became serious. "I'm teaching this to only a few Marines, the ones who think differently. If you're ever in a position where death is certain, you can use this knowledge. Make your death hurt them more than your life ever could." Later that night, in his quarters, Ji-woo practiced with the memory chip. He learned how to create perfect fake memories, how to hide real ones, how to make his fear look real even when it wasn't. He worked until morning, until every fake memory felt as real as his true ones. He didn't know then that in 6 months on a distant space station, this training would be the key to his most important mission. A mission that would start with his death and end with a victory no one would see coming. As Ji-woo finally lay down to sleep that morning, Sun Mi's words echoed in his mind. "The best weapon against the Nexus isn't our guns or our ships. It's their belief that they know us completely. Let them keep believing that, right until it destroys them." Back in the control room of Colony Station Epsilon, Han Ji-woo worked fast. His hands moved over the computer keys while he kept one eye on the security screens. The Nexus aliens were still coming up through the station, floor by floor. Ji-woo opened his neural implants control panel on the main screen. The interface glowed blue in the darkroom. He thought about everything Master Sergeant Sun Mi had taught him about making fake memories look real. Now was the time to use that training. First, he created false memories about Earth's defense systems. In these fake memories, Earth's biggest guns were in the wrong places. The shield generators around major cities were weaker than they really were. He made it look like Earth had fewer ships than it actually had. "Computer, start new log entry," Ji-woo said as he worked. "The defense grid is failing. We can't hold them back much longer." He made his voice shake a little. The fear in it sounded real, but it wasn't. Every word was part of his plan. Next, he added memories about secret weapon storage rooms on level 3 of the station. These rooms didn't exist, but he filled his mind with detailed memories of them. He remembered checking them yesterday, counting the weapons, fixing the security doors. None of it was real, but it would feel real to the Nexus when they took it from his brain. The station's eye spoke. "Warning. Intruders have reached level 7. Ji-woo typed faster. He created more false memories. In these ones, Earth's best troops were defending the wrong places. Important bases were shown in the wrong locations. He even added memories of secret passages in the station that led nowhere. When the Nexus found these memories, they would waste time and soldiers searching for things that weren't there. But he had to be careful. Master Sergeant Sunmai had warned him that the memories had to be perfect. One small mistake, and the Nexus would know they were being tricked. Ji-woo checked every fake memory 3 times, making sure each detail matched with the others. "Computer, continue log," he said. "I've sealed the doors to level 3. The weapons must be protected at all costs." He looked at the security screens again. The Nexus were getting closer. Good. Let them come. Let them think they were about to win. Jae-woo saved all the fake data and closed the computer panel. He touched the neural implant at the back of his neck. Everything was ready. When the Nexus killed him, they would take what they thought was valuable military information. Instead, they would get a trap that would spread through their entire hive mind. He thought about Master Sergeant Sunmi again. She had taught him that the best lies were mostly truth with just a few careful changes. The Nexus would find real memories in his head too. Memories of training, of fighting, of living on Earth. These true memories would make the false ones stronger, more believable. The station shook as another explosion hit nearby. Ji-woo picked up his rifle and checked it one last time. Everything was in place now. His mind was a weapon, loaded and ready to fire. His death would be the trigger. "Final entry," he said to the computer. "The weapons on level 3 are our last hope. I will defend them with my life." He smiled a little at these words. The Nexus would think they were the desperate words of a dying soldier. Instead, they were the beginning of a trap that would cost the aliens far more than they could imagine. The sound of alien claws on metal came from above. Ji-woo took his position and aimed his rifle at the ceiling vents. His heart was calm. His hands were steady. He was ready to die, but he would die his way. He would die telling the perfect lie. The ceiling vents burst open with a loud crash. Han Ji-woo fired his rifle in controlled bursts, taking down the first 3 Nexus aliens as they dropped into the control room. Their gray bodies hit the floor with heavy thuds. But Ji-woo knew these were just the first wave. Then something unexpected happened. A human figure climbed down through one of the vents. He wore a black uniform with no military markings. When he stepped into the light, Ji-woo recognized him. It was Commander Lee Do-hyun, who had disappeared 6 months ago during a battle near Mars. "Sergeant Han," Do-hyun said with a calm voice, "put down your weapon. There's no need to die here." Jae-woo kept his rifle aimed steady. "You're working with them now, Commander." Do-hyun smiled. "Working with them? No, I'm leading them. The Nexus understand humans better than humans do. They've shown me things you can't imagine." He walked forward slowly. "Join us. Your combat skills would be valuable." More Nexus aliens dropped from the ceiling, but they didn't attack. They formed a circle around Ji-woo, waiting. Do-hyun's presence had changed things. This wasn't going according to plan. Ji-woo thought quickly. The fake data in his neural implant was meant to trick aliens, not humans. Do-hyun might spot the deception. He needed to adapt his plan. "The weapons cache," Ji-woo said, letting fear slip into his voice. "That's what you're here for, isn't it?" Do-hyun's smile faded slightly. "What weapons cache?" "Level 3. Earth's new plasma rifles. Enough to arm a whole division." Ji-woo made his hands shake a little. "You won't get them. I've sealed the doors." "You're lying," Do-hyun said, but doubt showed in his eyes. "Our scans showed nothing on level 3. Why do you think I'm the last one here?" Ji-woo backed up against the computer console. "My squad died protecting those weapons. I won't let their sacrifice be for nothing." Do-hyun turned to the nearest Nexus alien. They seemed to communicate silently for a moment. Ji-woo watched carefully. He had seen this before. The human traitor was connected to the hive mind somehow. "Kill him," Do-hyun ordered, "but keep his brain intact. We need to know if he's telling the truth about the weapons. The Nexus moved forward. Jiwoo fired his last rounds, taking down 2 more aliens. Then his rifle clicked empty. This was it, the moment everything depended on. "You're making a mistake, Commander," Jiwoo said. He dropped his empty rifle and drew his combat knife. "The Nexus don't understand humans as well as they think. And neither do you." Do-hyun's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" But Jiwoo didn't answer. The Nexus were almost on him now. He gripped his knife tightly and smiled. His last thought was of Master Sergeant Sunmi. She would be proud. He had made his lie perfect. The aliens struck all at once. Jiwoo's knife flashed in the red emergency lights as he fought his last fight. He managed to take 1 more alien with him before the others overwhelmed him. His neural implant was ready. The trap was set. As darkness took him, Jiwoo heard Do-hyun shout, "Check his neural implant now. Find out about those weapons." Jiwoo's last smile was one of victory. They had taken the bait completely. Now the real battle would begin, fought in the depths of the Nexus hive mind with weapons made of lies and truth. Captain Park Minna sat at her monitoring station in Earth Command's Neural Intelligence Center. The large room was quiet except for the soft beeping of computers. Her screen showed data from hundreds of neural implants across the galaxy. One screen in particular had her complete attention. The one tracking Staff Sergeant Han Jiwoo's neural signal from Colony Station Epsilon. "Signal lost from Sergeant Han," her computer announced. Minna's hands moved quickly over the keyboard. She had been waiting for this moment. "Begin deep scan of Nexus hive mind frequencies," she ordered. Her screen filled with new data as the powerful computers searched for Jiwoo's neural information. They needed to confirm that his plan had worked. Next to her, the main screen showed Colony Station Epsilon. Red dots marked Nexus forces moving through the station. They were all heading to Level 3 now, exactly as Jiwoo had planned. Minna allowed herself a small smile. "Captain," one of her technicians called out, "we're detecting massive data movement in the Nexus hive mind. It's spreading faster than we've ever seen before." Minna nodded. "Show me the pattern." The large screen changed to show a map of Nexus fleet movements. Already, ships were changing course. They were moving to defend against attacks that would never come, to protect against weapons that didn't exist. Jiwoo's false information was spreading through their entire network. "Send word to Colonel Yoon," Minna said. "The first phase is complete. Sergeant Han's sacrifice was successful." She looked at another screen that showed Jiwoo's last neural readings. His heart rate had been perfectly normal when he died. No fear, no panic. He had died exactly as he planned to die. A new alert flashed on her screen. The computers had detected something interesting in the hive mind data. Minna leaned forward to read it. Her eyes widened. "Commander Lee Do-hyun was there," she said softly. This was unexpected. The human trader's presence made things more complicated, but also more promising. Do-hyun's connection to the hive mind meant he would help spread Jiwoo's false information even faster. Minna opened a secure channel to Earth Command's main control room. "This is Captain Park. Priority message for Strategic Command. Operation Dead Echo is successful. The Nexus have taken the bait. They're already moving their ships based on Sergeant Han's false data." She turned back to her screens, watching as more and more Nexus ships changed course. Their entire fleet was reacting to threats that existed only in Jiwoo's carefully crafted memories. "Begin Phase 2, she ordered her team. "Track every ship movement, every response, every decision they make based on the false data. We need to know exactly how far this spreads." The technicians worked quickly, gathering data. Minna thought about Jiwoo, who she had never met in person. His personnel file was open on one of her screens. His last psych evaluation had noted his unusual creative approach to tactical problems. That creativity had just changed the course of the war. "Neural scan complete," her computer announced. Sergeant Hand's false tactical data has reached 17 major Nexus Hive clusters, spread continuing at exponential rates. Minna sent another message to Command. Recommend immediate launch of Operation Starfall. The Nexus defenses are about to be in exactly the wrong places. We won't get a better chance than this. She looked one last time at Jiwoo's file photo. You did it, Sergeant, she said quietly. You turned your death into the perfect weapon. Now we'll make sure it wasn't wasted. Lieutenant Kang Ta-Jin watched from the bridge of his ship as the Nexus fleet moved away from Earth's outer colonies. The large display screen showed hundreds of enemy ships changing position. They were all heading to defend against an attack that would never come. Sir, his tactical officer said, the Nexus are moving their forces exactly as Captain Park predicted. They're spreading thin to cover the fake weak points in our defenses. Tai-Jin nodded. The false information from Sergeant Hand's neural implant was working perfectly. The Nexus thought they knew Earth's secret plans, but they were really following a script written by a dead Marine. Show me their main fleet movements, Ta-Jin ordered. The screen changed to show a larger view of space. Red dots marked Nexus ships. They were moving to protect places that didn't need protection, leaving their real weak spots open. A message came in from Earth Command. Operation Starfall is approved. All ships, prepare for attack. Ta-Jin turned to his crew. This is what we've been waiting for. One brave Marine gave his life to give us this chance. Let's make it count. He looked at the tactical display again. The Nexus had split their forces into 3 groups. One group was heading to Level 3 of Colony Station Epsilon, searching for weapons that didn't exist. Another was moving to defend against a fleet that wasn't coming. The third was spreading out to protect bases that were just images in Sergeant Hand's fake memories. All ships, battle positions, Ta-Jin ordered. The Nexus think they know what we're going to do. For the first time in this war, they're completely wrong. Earth's ships moved into attack formation. The Nexus didn't react. They were too busy following the false information in their hive mind. Ta-Jin thought about Sergeant Han, who he had never met. The man's last act had given them this perfect moment. Sir, his communications officer called out. Message from Captain Park at Neural Intelligence. The false data has reached all major Nexus hive clusters. Their entire command structure is compromised. Tai-Jin smiled. Send word to all ships. Begin Operation Starfall. Hit them where they aren't looking. Earth's fleet moved forward as one. They struck at the real weak points in the Nexus defenses, the ones the aliens had left open while chasing shadows. For the first time since the war began, the Nexus were caught completely by surprise. Multiple direct hits on Nexus command ships, his tactical officer reported. They're trying to regroup, but the hive mind is still feeding them the false data. They can't coordinate their defenses. The battle continued for hours, but it wasn't really a battle. It was a carefully planned trap, set by a Marine who had turned his own death into a weapon. The Nexus fought back, but they were fighting the wrong enemy in the wrong places. By the time the Nexus realized their mistake, it was too late. The false information had spread too far through their hive mind. Every decision they made was based on lies. Every move they made was wrong, and Earth's forces were ready to take advantage of each mistake. Send a message to command, Ta-Jin said as he watched another Nexus ship fall. Sergeant Han's strategy is working better than we could have hoped. The Nexus aren't just losing ships. They're losing their ability to trust their own hive mind. He looked out at the battle, where Earth ships were striking with perfect precision at enemies who were looking the wrong way. Sometimes, he said quietly, the best weapon isn't the one you fire. It's the one that makes the enemy fire at shadows. Commander Lee Do-hyun stood in the empty weapons storage room on Level 3 of Colony Station Epsilon. There were no advanced plasma rifles here, no secret weapons. The room had always been empty. Now he understood. He had been tricked by a dead man. Status report. He demanded through his neural link to the Nexus hive mind. The response came instantly. filling his mind with images of defeat. Earth ships were attacking Nexus positions across space. The aliens' carefully planned defenses were useless because they were defending the wrong places. Do-hyun walked to the station's main control room where Surgeon Han had died. The Marine's body still lay there, surrounded by fallen Nexus warriors. Do-hyun looked at Han's face, which held a slight smile even in death. "You planned this," Do-hyun said to the dead Marine. "Everything in your neural implant was a lie. But it was a perfect lie, wasn't it? Just real enough to fool the hive mind." Through his connection to the Nexus network, Do-hyun felt their confusion and anger spread. The aliens had always relied on the information they took from dead enemies. It had never occurred to them that this information could be false. Now that trust was breaking down. "All ships disregard information from human neural sources," Do-hyun ordered through the hive mind. But he felt the aliens' resistance to this command. They couldn't simply ignore the data. It was too deeply embedded in their network, spreading from mind to mind like a virus. The station's computer suddenly activated. Incoming transmission from Earth Command. A holographic image appeared. It showed Colonel Yoon Ha-won, her uniform neat and her expression stern. "Commander Lee," she said, "I see you've discovered Sergeant Han's gift to the Nexus." "This won't stop us," Do-hyun said, but his voice lacked conviction. "The Nexus will adapt. They'll learn to tell true memories from false ones." "Will they?" Colonel Yoon asked. "How can they trust any information they take from human minds now?" Sergeant Han showed them that everything they thought they knew might be a lie. That doubt will spread through their hive mind faster than any virus. Do-hyun felt the truth of her words. Through his neural link, he could feel the Nexus hive mind fragmenting. Different hive clusters were refusing to share information, afraid it might be corrupted. The perfect communication network that had made the Nexus so powerful was breaking down. "One Marine," Do-hyun said quietly. "One Marine did all this." "Sergeant Han understood something you forgot when you joined the Nexus," Colonel Yoon replied. "The greatest human weapon isn't our technology or our strength. It's our ability to turn apparent defeat into victory." The station shook as Earth ships began their attack. Through the hive mind, Do-hyun felt the Nexus trying to coordinate their defense, but their movements were slow, uncertain. Every piece of tactical information was now suspect. Every strategy might be based on false data. "You should be proud, Commander," Colonel Yoon said. "You helped make this victory possible. When you killed Sergeant Han, you ensured his false information would spread through the highest levels of the Nexus command structure. Your connection to the hive mind made his deception perfect." The hologram disappeared, leaving Do-hyun alone with his thoughts and the growing chaos in the hive mind. He looked again at Sergeant Han's body, understanding at last the full scale of the Marine strategy. Han had turned the Nexus's greatest strength into a fatal weakness, and he had used Do-hyun himself as part of the weapon. Through his neural link, Do-hyun heard the Nexus call for retreat. For the first time, the aliens were afraid of the knowledge they took from human minds. Sergeant Han's last deception had done more than win a battle. It had changed the nature of the war itself. 1 year after the battle at Colony Station Epsilon, Captain Park Min-ah stood before a class of new Marine recruits at the Earth Defense Academy. The large classroom was quiet as she played the recording of Sergeant Han Ji-woo's final combat log. "This is Staff Sergeant Han Ji-woo, Earth Marine Corps, ID number 227 to 849. I am the last defender of Colony Station Epsilon." Min-ah paused the recording. "What you just heard was the beginning of the most successful military deception in human history. Sergeant Han's strategy changed how we fight the Nexus forever." She pressed a button, and a hologram appeared above the classroom. It showed the events that followed Ji-woo's death, the spread of false information through the Nexus hive mind, the confusion of their fleets, and their eventual retreat from Earth space. "The Nexus have not launched a major attack in 12 months, Min-ah continued. "Their entire military structure has been compromised by doubt. They can no longer trust the information they take from human minds. One Marine's clever planning did what our biggest weapons could not. In the front row, Master Sergeant Kim Sunmai watched with pride. She had trained Jiwoo, taught him how to use deception as a weapon. Now she helped train other Marines to do the same. We've developed new strategies based on Sergeant Han's success, Minna explained. Every Marine now carries specially prepared neural implants. The Nexus can never be sure if what they learn from us is truth or deception. A hologram changed to show the current state of the war. Earth's forces were pushing the Nexus back, reclaiming lost colonies. The aliens' once perfect hive mind was now their greatest weakness. But the most important lesson from Sergeant Han isn't about technology or tactics, Minna said. It's about the power of human creativity. He showed us that even in apparent defeat, a Marine can find a path to victory. After the class, Minna walked with Sunmi to the Academy's memorial wall. A new section had been added, dedicated to Jiwoo's achievement. His image was there, along with the words, "He turned knowledge into doubt and defeat into victory." The training program has changed because of him, Sunmi said. We now teach Marines to think about their neural data as a weapon. Every piece of information in their minds could be used against the enemy. Minna nodded. The Nexus thought they knew us because they could read our minds. Jiwoo showed them that knowing what's in our minds isn't the same as understanding how we think. They stopped at Jiwoo's memorial. A group of young Marines stood nearby, studying his image and discussing his strategy. His story had become required learning at the academy. He would have liked this, Sunmi said, watching the students, not the recognition, but knowing that his idea helped protect Earth, that his sacrifice made a difference. It did more than that, Minna replied. He gave us a new way to fight. The Nexus are stronger than us, but they think in straight lines. They can't understand why someone would choose to die just to plant a seed of doubt in their minds. As they walked away, another class of recruits entered the memorial hall. They would learn about Jiwoo's strategy, study his combat log, and understand how one Marine's clever thinking had changed the course of the war. His legacy lived on in every new tactic, every deceptive strategy, every victory that came from making the enemy doubt their own perfect knowledge. The war wasn't over, but thanks to Staff Sergeant Han Jiwoo, humanity now had a weapon the Nexus could never counter: the power of uncertainty.